The prop perspective on this Monday, live right now on the early line on SportsGrid. He is Donnie right side. I am Ben Stevens, and now the man in the middle from FanDuel. It is Tom Vecchio, the jack of all trades. That amps up a little bit more at this time of year. We've got basketball, the NBA in its regular season home stretch. Same for the act on the ice in the National Hockey League, and then Vecchio, the home run prop king, will join us on Thursday for some of those season-long bets around Major League Baseball ahead of opening day. Vecchio, we appreciate the time on this Monday. 3 days off for us that are really fascinated with the NCAA tournament, but that does not mean the profits slow down. We appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I will be back on Thursday, as you said, to talk about MLB. Still busy games between now and then. And speaking of the NCAA tournament, how about BC to win the Frozen Four this year?
Whoa! That is a different NCAA tournament in hockey, DRS.
Is that the Bean Pot?
Yeah.
What is that?
No, that's the actual NCAA tournament.
In Boston. Yeah, we're talking about the Frozen Four. Yeah, Donnie knows.
Right.
He's a hockey guy.
So BC to win the Frozen Four, it's going to come down between them and BU, probably in the final. Number 1 and number 2 seeds really have been all year. BC is an amazing line, centered around Will Smith and Gabe Perreault, while BU is back in Celebrini. I think BC is going to bring it home.
I mean, listen, the jack of all trades for a reason, but a little bit slanderous to the Michigan region that has Western Michigan, Michigan State, a Big Ten champ for the first time in a long time, and Michigan all playing in the same region as well as North Dakota. That's some hockey talk at the college level. Now, Vecchio, we turn our attention back to the NBA. Tonight in San Antonio, it is the Suns and the Spurs. Phoenix battling, trying to stay on the right side of not being in the Western Conference play-in tournament. San Antonio probably already focused on next year. But as we look at this spread tonight in San Antonio, I'm trying to find it. Am I missing it on the? Oh, no, there it is. I got it. All right. 12.5 points in favor of Phoenix. The over-under, 233 and a hook. Not a great job hosting right there, Vecchio. But now I ask what you like in this game.
Yeah, that's going to Jusuf Nurkic over an 11.5 rebounds. It's sitting at -1 and 2. Wembanyama is listed as questionable. Even if he plays tonight, he can pick up plenty of rebounds on his own. But because the Spurs play so fast, there's just so many possessions back and forth that they're actually allowing 15.6 rebounds per game to opposing centers. That's the 5th most in the league. And, I see this as just like a high priority game for Phoenix, right? No nonsense. They got to come away with the win, secure their seeding. Nurkic consistently hitting 11. That's what he's averaging this year. But looking back at his recent game log, he's pushing towards the upper teens, if not 20s, in some of these recent games. So the points may not be there for him just because Beal, Booker, Durant doing their thing, but the rebounds are really always there for Nurkic.
Have a late night action tonight, 10:30 p.m. tip on the West Coast. An interesting game that lines up because we saw the Pacers play yesterday and lose to the Lakers in an absolute track meet here. And then you take a look and see that the Clippers got beat by the Philadelphia 76ers. So both teams in a bounce-back lineup here. 6.5 is the number opened up at the FanDuel Sportsbook between the Pacers and the Clippers. That's down to 6 and a total of 233. Back-to-backs here. How does that line up between the Pacers and the Clippers?
I think tonight is about the under, and I would specifically like Kawhi Leonard over 6.5 rebounds. It was sitting at -140. It's a little bit of juice, some people might think, but the Clippers got to lock things down, and the Pacers have actually been playing just a touch slow, and I'm going to say slightly better defense this month. It's not a massive sample size compared to where they were at the beginning of the season, giving up 140 points. They're playing slightly better in defense, and again, 2 playoff-bound teams, they probably don't want to get up and down tonight, and that means a lot of rebounds, slower pace overall. Yeah. So give me Kawhi doing his normal thing, filling up a stat sheet, probably knowing going for more than, 28 or 30 points on either team.
233 is that over-under, as you both were alluding to. Denver now, Vecchio, given a Oklahoma City loss yesterday in Milwaukee. Half-game advantage for that top spot in Western Conference standings. OKC half-game back. Minnesota only a game behind Denver as well. The Clippers now trailing by 5.5 games for that top spot. They only have a half-game lead over New Orleans for what is the 4-5 split in the Western Conference standings. So here down the home stretch of this NBA regular season, how do you compare the standings to what the odds say right now to win the Western Conference crown?
I'm really liking the Suns at +850, and I would say it like hinges on them getting the 6th seed, because if they get the 6th seed, they can avoid Denver and they can avoid LA if things hold. Denver gets the 1, LA gets the 4. That means in the first round they can play Minnesota. They would play OKC or Minnesota, however that ends up. I think the Suns The Suns taking on the Timberwolves with no Karl-Anthony Towns. I'll take the Suns in that matchup. And while OKC's had a great year, they're still too young for the playoffs. I will take that veteran side with players who have shown before in the playoffs with the Suns. That means the first time they would play Denver would be in the conference finals. So if they can stay in that 6th seed and avoid Denver and avoid the Clippers, I'll take the Suns at plus 850.
Vecchio trying to rally the Valley out there with some good odds here on a superstar-laden team. We'll see if they can pull it together for a playoff run. One team that pulled it together yesterday was the Philadelphia 76ers in a victory over the Los Angeles Clippers, going now up, staying in the state of California, to Sacramento to take on the Kings. This line opened up as a 9-point favorite that now sits at 9.5 live here at the FanDuel Sportsbook, and a total that opened up at 222 that now stays at 222 right now in some live updated numbers. Sixers and the Kings, do we expect a big performance out of Maxey and Harris again, or is it a Kings night here?
I think we're going to see some decent scoring in this game overall, just because a little bit of lack of defense from the Kings this season. They don't really play super lockdown. I think De'Aaron Fox's prop for assists at 5.5 is too low, especially if I'm expecting some scoring in this game compared to the others. If you're sitting at minus 118, I would play that. Sabonis does what he does, but there's no really way to go about it in terms of rebounding props. There's even no way to go about a player performance double plus the win is still sitting at minus 200. So it's really just keeping things simple with De'Aaron Fox tonight.
When you look, Vecchio, at where things stand in the Western Conference, we thought at the All-Star break the 10 teams that were either in the play-in tournament position or right into the playoffs as a qualifier would be those 10 teams. Except it's getting a little bit interesting right now for that 10th and final spot. Golden State still a game lead over the Houston Rockets. But because the Rockets have won 8 straight, they are now only a game back of that 10th and final spot in the Western Conference standings and an opportunity to see the play-in tournament. Houston now a 12.5-point favorite against the Portland Trail Blazers tonight. Will the Rockets keep it rolling, making it 9 in a row? And can they cover a hefty 12.5-point favorite?
I think they win this game. I'm not sure about covering, and you're right. They have been absolutely on fire in this recent stretch. This is a great matchup. I will specifically be going to Fred VanVleet over 27.5 points plus assists. The Portland Trailblazers are around 25-8 for points and assists to point guards this season. Not only can VanVleet push towards 30 points alone, he's piling up the assists because Jalen Green is on fire from deep. He's knocking down 7+ threes in multiple recent games. And if he's just going to be knocking down these shots, VanVleet is simply just going to fall into 9 assists tonight, along with his usual 20-some-odd points, because this matchup is so easy. So they keep things rolling. The Warriors, not secure right now to make the playoffs or the play-in.
Let's flip it over to the Let's flip it over to the ice tonight, Tom. Double header out here. Only 2 games out here. One at 8 p.m. Eastern, one at 9. The first game up here, the Vegas Golden Knights take the St. Louis Blues in St. Louis. This total opened up at 6.5, still currently sitting at 6.5, but some numbers have been changing here on the Golden Knights as favorites. Overnight opened up as a minus 134 price, now find themselves sitting at the FanDuel Sportsbook at a minus 150 price. Vegas versus St. Louis tonight. What can we anticipate here?
We can anticipate a lack of scoring tonight. So under 6.5, it's minus 134. Vegas right now, they're in the last wild card spot with 83 points. The Blues are right behind them with 79 points. So if the Blues win this game, they're going to be at 81 points, right behind Vegas. And Vegas has a tough matchup tomorrow going to Nashville, who are on fire. They haven't lost. They have yet to failed to pick up a point in like 15 or 16 straight games, or whatever it is. Nashville's on fire. So This is a massively high priority game for the wild card. Under tonight, maybe go to Jack Eichel for a shot prop, but that's really it. I'm not expecting a ton of scoring. If this game ends 2-1 on either side, I'm not going to be surprised.
Now we go to the only other game on the ice tonight. Up in Vancouver, the Canucks, the most points right now, the best record in the Western Conference, and a slight home favorite against the LA Kings. Minus 134 on that money line in favor of Vancouver. Vecchio, what's the breakdown north of the border?
So 5.5 over-under right now. If it jumps to 6, I will absolutely play under 6, just because you can get the push there. I don't like the 5.5 number just because, an empty net goal can actually change things. But I will take under 6 if it gets there. Again, another high-priority game. Vancouver's kind of settled in their position. They've kind of picked up a few games because the Oilers have dropped 3 in a row. I like Brock Boeser for over 2.5 shots, second forward line, first power play. Again, another game I'm not expecting a ton of scoring as the 5.5 over-under would indicate, but the volume of shots still be there for teams. They've generally been pretty solid on defense. So a simple 2.5 shot prop, maybe not a ton of scoring overall, is probably the best route to go about this.
To win the Stanley Cup, 5 teams at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, Tom, here have under 10-1 prices. What are we looking at in that market for you? Who is going to lift Lord Stanley's Cup?
It's tough not to continue to say the Stars, my preseason pick, who are 9.5 to 1 right now. I think they were 11.5 or 11.5 to begin the season. But man, the Canes look absolutely unbelievable right now. The pickup of Jake Gensel at the trade deadline from the Penguins has been phenomenal. They're playing great on offense. Their defense just absolutely suffocates teams. They do not allow you to pile up the shots. So the Canes coming out of the East would not be a surprise. Florida needs to kind of get things settled on defense. Bobrovsky has been obviously amazing. I'm not expecting the Panthers to struggle once they get the playoffs. It's just about finding the right form once they get there. But the Canes look absolutely unbelievable right now.
7 total teams right now at 97 points or more around the entirety of the NHL, including the Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference. 97 points, just 8 point behind the Rangers at the top of the Metropolitan Division. So let's show the props for Tom Vecchio so you can see everything in its glory on this Monday night. Jusuf Nurkic, Fred VanVleet, and then a couple of NHL plays as well. Vecchio, we'll see you Thursday.
That's right. Thursday to start the MLB season. I'll be ready.
We'll have some season-long props and some looks at the opening day in Major League Baseball. And make sure, Vecchio, you've got some thoughts on the scheduling of opening week as well. We go around the association next.